Nano Pico Amusement Studio. Never heard of them before. Oh, hey everybody. Welcome to PictoQuest, the cursed grids. I barely found out about this game, and by the way, it's just me today. It's Dan. I'm a huge fan of Picross. I guess I've never really talked about it on our videos before, but yes, I love Picross by quite a bit. And what this game supposedly is a Picross RPG of sorts. And from what I can tell, according to the trailers and screenshots, you kind of go on a little quest and you're entreated to solve puzzles, and somehow they work the mechanics in such a way that you can actually get into battles with enemies and stuff like that. Just in case you're not familiar with Picross, it's they call it a nonary box puzzle, I guess is what they sometimes refer to it as. Essentially, what it is a bunch of numbers along the grid, and the numbers tell you how many spaces within a certain row or column are supposed to be filled, and you're supposed to use logic and spacing to figure out, how it all goes together. And by the end of it, you're supposed to have like a picture. It's usually some dinky little pixelated block picture thing, but you love it because you built it, and it's way more exciting to play than it looks. But I'm hoping that this RPG-like element will actually make it a little more exciting than your typical Picross game, but just want to take a look at it. Alright, here we go. Let's check out the tutorial here. So the goal is to reveal the hidden picture, filling some squares with the help of the numbers above and on the left of the grid. Yep, as I was describing. Each number indicates how many consecutive squares must be filled in a certain row or column. So as you can see in the upper right, the upper left, there is a 5 number, and you'll see the demonstration is just filling all 5 squares, because if the number on top of a column is the maximum amount of squares that the column is, then clearly the entire column is filled in. And just below, you can see another example of the logic where you see 1 and 3. And the order of the numbers matters, because if 1 is above 3, 1 will always be above 3 within the box, within the grid itself. So likewise, because there is a 1, and any number refers to a contiguous set of squares. So 1 will only be 1 square on its own, and 3 will of course be 3 consecutive squares together. And the only way to fit 1 and 3 into a 5x5 grid is just like that. And so that's why it's like that. On the row, like the horizontal, you can see that the same exact deal is happening, just in a different direction. But yeah. That's essentials of it. And on the right side where the 4 is, you can see how there is room for ambiguity when you don't have numbers that kind of force you to use all the squares within a single row or column. So those are the things that tend to be a little uncertain, and so the goal is always to always fill in and eliminate squares that you are sure about, because the more things you become sure about, the more information you have to use. And it just lets you solve the puzzle more and more as you go around. So you can kind of you jump around from column to column, row to row, and the more information you fill in because you figure it out using other columns and rows, you can continue on. You keep building your information so you can keep on figuring it out. It's a fun mechanic. Yeah, so hopefully while I was talking there was enough time to maybe kind of skim over the rest of it, but I think that's the basics of it. And they made that very simple. Okay, so let's see how hard this gets or how difficult it can be. Let's start. Welcome to Pictoria. Once upon a time was a place called Pictoria. Visitors were rushing from all over the world to admire its beautiful, unique paintings. Alas, on a stormy night, the beloved paintings started to vanish. One could easily guess who was a jealous creature behind this dark spell. Oh, I'll bet it's some guy who hates Picross.
Knack, knack, knack. Who will get the most splendid lair now? It's me, Moonface.
Oh, wow, Moonface.
Come, little paintings, come to me. Nobody will discuss my perfect taste anymore.
Wait, is he mad because other people criticize his taste? Or is he collecting these paintings to prove to people that he has taste? little unclear to me. Anyway. Okay, so I can choose between Flo and Arvel. A young knight in training, here to start his first adventure. Likes apple pies and slashing monsters. And meanwhile, Arvel, her mom was one of the most famous Pictoria's painter. They could have proofread that. She's definitely getting her work back. So we either have a knight in training, eager to prove himself, or the girl with the actual personal investment in the story. Let's be invested in the story. Alright, so they don't really do much in terms of, like, there isn't much explanation here. There's no hand-holding almost, or very little hand-holding, it seems. So let's just go in there. First puzzle, it's a 5x5 grid. Let's do it. Alright, so as I was saying, this can be pretty simple. You can usually get a good start by going for the highest numbers first. So you got 5 along this side, because you know that's going to work out that way. Every time you see a 3 on a 5x5 grid, you know that this middle square has to be filled, because there's no way, like, no matter where you put 3, this one will always be filled. But in so doing, you've made it so that you've already satisfied the 2 requirement up there, so you can put a little X there to mark the end of it, because there needs to be a space in between each contiguous set. So 1 could be either one of these, but it can't be here, or else 2 would just be 3. Same deal with the 5 down here, you know that's working. And something about the 3 on this part of the grid is that you know that 3 includes this space, meaning that the first spot it could be in is along these 3. And that means this square has to be filled because you already filled this one. So that also means that this one on the far end has to be vacant, because it cannot stretch that far and still remain 3. And so that's kind of how this goes. You just figure it out based off of logic, and it just becomes easier and easier as time goes by, and there you go. Right away. Looks like we made ourselves a coin! Oh wow, the pictures animate. That's actually kind of rare for a Picross game. That's a little extra flair they put in. I got 6 coins for that. Cool. Guess I already had 30 to start. Do I have any access to... Oh. I think I accidentally got back into this thing without realizing it. I hit the Y button and it just restarted the puzzle. That's okay. Alright, we can just keep on going. So I guess the RPG elements of this game aren't too heavy. It's just, it seems to be more set dressing. I haven't seen much dialogue except for that tiny bit of story at the intro there. Not much from the characters themselves so far, but we can keep on going. So again, easy 5s right here, and the 4s, we know that at least 3 of them have to be like that, and then that means we can do this and figure out those 3, no issues there. And since there's 2 here and 2 there, we know that's convenient to find out, and simple as that. We've just made ourselves a heart. Nice. So these 5x5 grid puzzles are, of course, very easy, and they usually start you off with really easy ones like that in most Picross games. Eventually things get to 10x10s and 15x15s, and in the Jupiter developed Picross E games or Picross S games, they go almost as high. I think they go up to 20x15, and those can get pretty dang complicated. Or, you know, they'll take some time. So this over here is just fast travel, and this here is another 5x5. I think you're just going to be getting rudimentary items out of here. And looks like this is the first time I'm encountering an enemy in the upper right corner. They did not explain. This is interesting. I'm eager to find out if there's any real mechanic to this. Oh. So I guess as soon as you solve it, you defeat the enemy. That's interesting. And I don't know if I got more for it because I solved it fairly quickly, or if it's because of an enemy. Not sure. But already 3 puzzles in, I've got 2% progress. So if I were to times that by 50, it sounds like there's about 150 puzzles in this game, which is pretty good for a Picross game. And considering that the game itself was only, I believe, $9.99 on the Nintendo eShop, that ain't bad either. So this is like a pretty good package for fans of the genre. But I recommend Picross to anybody, and I think Jupiter's Jupiter developed games like Picross S on Switch and the Picross E series on 3DS are any of them are just as good as the other ones. Pretty much, they are all very basic, but they all feature the exact same puzzle gameplay, and they're always fun. So if you're keen to try this, go for it. Totally. Oh, and when you have zeros, of course, that means the entire row is nixed. And that can be just as effective at figuring things out as anything else, because check that out. Easy. Got ourselves a gem. Cool. These aren't animating as much as... well, wait, there goes... Okay, it's a sheen. That's what's going on. Cool. I guess I can't go off to the right yet. Let's just maybe burn through these as quickly as I can. Okay, so it seems they have an attack bar now, which means most likely that if I sit idly thinking too long, I will be punished with an attack from the enemy. Seems like. Makes sense. They're having me solve for letters here. Okay. Let's see what's up with this girl. When I grow up, I'll go on an adventure too. I'm training in secret. We have 5 minutes until my parents get back. Oh, okay. You can't actually talk, you just make noises. Let's race to see who completes the grid the fastest way. Oh, you want to take me on? I'm a vet. I am not horrible at these Picross games, girl. Resolve a heart grid. Win before the time is out. That seems easy to do. Fine, I'll take you on. I'm going to destroy you, little girl. Oh, how about it? And this is even the same exact thing that I was, this is the exact same puzzles before. One thing that I do notice playing through Picross games, though, is that you tend to forget how you solve any one given puzzle, unless you are just retrying a puzzle that you just stopped. So if you play one puzzle, get away from it a couple puzzles later, and then encounter the same puzzle again, at least for me, I never remember anything. Which is kind of good, because it means Picross puzzles kind of refresh themselves because you forget. And actually Jupiter relies on that, because there is a Mega Picross mode where they combine rows a little bit, where the numbers stand for 2 rows at a time, and they just reuse all the images from normal Picross, but it's essentially doubling the puzzles, because you can't remember what you did, and they scramble the order too. So I mean, it works. It's kind of little less fun because they are pictures you'll have seen before, but the gameplay's all there. So Playful Little Girl S says, "Whoa, you guys are even faster than me. Since you won, here's a reward. I got 10 gold out of that." And how come she said you guys? I'm just one lady. I'm Arvel. The other dude ain't even with me. Whatever. Let's go. Okay. I got... Wait, what did L and R do here? Oh. Okay. This is getting more interesting. Now it's a game of managing their attack meters. So you got to keep an eye on who's about to attack you so that they won't actually get a chance to get an attack off. Very interesting, very interesting. Okay. Alright, I'm starting to see that there is strategy they're layering in here. It's stuff that I don't usually have to think about when doing Picross puzzles. And I can imagine that this can get really, really bad as soon as the puzzles themselves become challenging. So... interesting. This might be more involved than I thought, which is great, because that means this is a very unique type of Picross game. That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah, you got double slimes here. Okay, got that. Whoops. Oh shoot. I messed up there. I totally messed up. Okay, so it seems that I guess if you miss, you automatically get attacked. That's something worth noting. Every so often, okay, one other thing about Picross games, ostensibly you're supposed to be able to figure out your next move using logic purely. You're supposed to never be in a situation where you have to guess, but depending on your ability to perceive like what the next step will be, sometimes it's just one tiny square, just literally one square that will give you what you need to progress. And if you don't find it, it may feel like you have to guess. And every so often I succumb to that because I just get sick of looking around. I imagine that will happen more and more if I keep playing this game, where I'm just trying to make sure I might make a reckless guess just to see if I can get the puzzle done, or open up new logic to use. So we got a shop here. We have 100 coins to use. Got ourselves a little Afro Ogre here. His name is Cellork. Perfect. A no-brainer. This small life potion will be very useful. I certainly don't seem to need them just yet. A bigger life potion. Freezing monsters so that they don't attack, I'm assuming. And then into stuff that's too rich for my blood at present time. Oh my god. Oh, that must be a heart up, so you can add hearts to your health. So there's freezing, there's flame, and there's lightning, and I don't know what the effects are. They won't tell you what they are either. Alright, let's get through one more. Okay, I'm only up against a treasure chest this time. That's easy to do. This game seems to have the helpful visual indicator that when you are done with a row, it grays out the numbers. That's something that Jupiter started to do more and more over time. Something nice about the Jupiter games is that if you're not great at Picross, or if you're just starting out and learning, they do have plenty of aids and helping features to kind of help you out there. Like things like maybe it will give you a full row, it'll fill out a whole row for you, or a whole column, or give you very detailed information on the sides as you go about how many numbers you're done with and how many are left and stuff like that. So there are ways to learn. There are ways to learn if it's overwhelming. Alright, so on a 5x5 grid, this is easy to do. Got this. Oh, they are after me. Okay, they finally got an attack off. Got that. And then as soon as you finish the puzzle itself, I guess they'll disappear no matter how much damage you've given them. Okay. So, one kind of crummy thing about keeping the puzzles easy is that means they're smaller, which means that the pictures you create at the end usually don't look like much. That's kind of why larger grids are more fun, because you get more time, or the grid is larger, meaning that there are more pixels to work with and they get to do nicer art. Jupiter is actually pretty good with its pixel art, and there have been pretenders to the throne. I forget what they call it. I think one of the competitor, or one of the other Picross games, like off-brand name games, are called Pick-a-Pix or something like that. And it's pixel art. Like, if you look at Jupiter's pixel art, you might think it looks pretty rudimentary and unimpressive, but if you look at Pick-a-Pix, it looks several levels worse. So you should appreciate Jupiter for all their hard work. They've also made 2 licensed Picross games on the Switch, one for Kemono Friends, the Zoo Animal Girl anime series, and another one for some sort of medieval anime thing. It was very recent they released that, but this seemed a little more fun to me. Wow, I like this guy. Should the guard chief find out I was taking it now? Well, Moonface was doing the Pretorian grid, so pretty mad at me. Oh wow, you're changing up. Hey, young people, where do you guys think you're going like that? After what happened, only the qualified people are allowed here. Only the qualified people. Yeah, I think they might have had some people who don't consider English to be their first language working on this localization. It's just my guess. Alright, let's do the moon again and win before the time is out. Now let's just blaze through it. Easy to do. Got that. Easy. Now, if you review the footage, I probably went about solving that puzzle in a different way than the first time, because Picross is very freeform. You can find the logic anywhere. As long as you just keep progressing, you're gonna find ways to keep going. And like I said, memory is very ephemeral when it comes to Picross puzzles, so you're just kind of just working with what you got. Wow, pretty good. Alright, stop by the workshop. A small reward awaits you. Oh, really? Now get out of here. If I ain't leaving, I'll be able to take my nap again. Hey. Is that supposed to be a hey? Whatever. This is still pretty charming to me. I like this game's presentation. Ooh, a free potion. Sure. Nice. Alright, we got ourselves a boss on a 5x5 grid. This shouldn't be too bad. Bad Dream. Interesting name. Where do you think you're going, you little adventurers? Again with the adventurers. Where's the other guy? I'm just me. Oh, okay, here we are. Okay, we're together after all. Flo and Arville say, huh? Where does that strange... Where does... Should be where did that strange voice come from? I'm proofreading this game as I go. Bad Dream says, there's no way I'm letting you get one more grid. Get ready to be changed into kindling. Oh, yeah, works for him. He's a fiery guy. He looks kind of like he's made out of wood, though. Whatever. Lemna. Wow, these people say unintelligible things. Beware, rumor tells that some big monsters can attack the grids directly using strange, chaotic powers. Uh-oh. Okay. It seems like there's gonna be worse bullshit than just attacking me. If they're actually gonna mess with my grid now, this might start getting a little dicey. Alright. I'm not gonna mess around here. I'm pulling no punches. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Were you trying to attack or do anything? Didn't you say you're gonna turn me into kindling? I'm sorry, what was that? What was that? Oh, and just like that, they're gone. You don't even get like a celebratory, like, we beat you ass sort of a piece of dialogue is just like, nope, he's gone. Oh well, that's fine. Well, let's check out a 10 by 10. There we go. This is more like it. And there's no enemies, so this is actually pretty leisurely here. So you can see how things are getting a little more involved. You see 8s here, and since I've already knocked down 2 squares on either side, I know that all the ones in the middle are going to be filled. That's easy to do. And since I now have squares on the bottom here, I know that 6 and 4 are closer to the bottom than the top. So I can continue on in that manner and knock out those guys accordingly. Let's see. I think... Yeah, 7 and 1 can only fit in this configuration. Easy. And there's another 8 that I can go for. Easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's easy to do. There's my 4 on this row. Okay. Now this 4 can stretch in either direction and still satisfy the 6, so not gonna mess with that right now. Okay, that's the whole 6 there. Alright, we're getting there. A lot of it just becomes a simple method of, like, you get really good at just telling at a glance, well, is it gonna fit or not? And if it doesn't fit, then it just doesn't go in there. Simple as that. Looks like we made a fruit. Yep, it's an apple. It's getting eaten as we watch. Oh, and I guess I took too long. Dang, okay. Spent too long trying to explain my moves, I guess. So, okay, the amount of money you get is definitely based on time. Alright, that's good to know. Kind of wish that that it would tell you which enemies or what encounter you had ahead of you. It doesn't tell you if it's going to be a treasure box or enemies to fight or what have you. So just be nice to know, I think. Another treasure chest. Let's see how quickly I can get through this one. Here are the 10s. Okay. 1s are kind of nice because you know that like they are surrounded by X's no matter where they are, so if you can identify that you have a 1 on your hands, easy. Okay. Got... Yep. Okay, so this game seems to not care about whether or not I knock things out or eliminate squares. It cares way more about squares that are properly filled in. So that's good to know. I can't fill time by just knocking out squares, which is unfortunate because sometimes knocking out squares is just as important as filling squares in terms of figuring things out. Got some money off of that. Well, I guess that's a pretty decent look at how this game goes. I was all ready to end it at the boss, but since it opened up to 10 by 10 grids, it was a little more fun for me to go after 10 by 10s. So, but after a couple of those, it seems like that's more or less how this game would progress. I don't know how long it takes before the enemies start doing the real bullshit. Now that I think about it, in the trailer there were moments where they actually undo parts of the grid that you've already filled in, and that sounds really annoying, and other things like that. So I think that for experienced Picross players, such as myself. I guess I would include myself in that demographic. It's a fresh challenge, which sounds kind of exciting and fun. So I'll probably be continuing to play this game, at my leisure. Picross is one of those perfect types of games that you can play when you just can't really think of what else to do. And I've defaulted to playing Picross so many times when I just felt like, I can't sink an hour or two into a whole gaming session, or like I just want to knock out a puzzle or two because they take just a few minutes each. It gets really addicting if you have a mind for it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you had a fun time, or if you like Picross yourself, you're one of the good ones. Play Picross, everybody. Seriously, it's fun, it's soothing. Provide your own soundtrack though, because the Jupiter games in particular, their music sucks. Alright, that's it. See ya.